let's walk through how to download the data for this textbook and get started on your assignments. I am showing you the Kindle version of the book, but the page numbers will be the same as if you have the hard copy. So the first thing you'll do is, of course, read the book, but as we go through, let's just go to the preface section of the book. And the preface gives you a lot of information about how to work with this book. The objectives, the data you're going to be using, the workflows. So you may want to take some time to read through this before you get started. So in here it also talks about the trial software and exercise data. Hopefully you have already successfully installed ArcGIS Pro using the information provided on Canvas. To get started with the textbook, it says the exercise data for this book is available for download in the ArcGIS online group named GTK Pro 2.6 in the Learn ArcGIS organization, available at this link. So if you were in your hard copy, you can type this link in, or there'll be one on Canvas. Or if you're in your Kindle version, you can go ahead and just click on this. And you will come to this page where you will have one file, Getting to Know ArcGIS document link, exercise data. We can click on it. And then from here, it gives you all the details here. Click Open to begin download. And you'll click on Open. You'll get an executable file, which once it downloads, you'll go ahead and click Install. Mine computer had an error with this one for a little bit because it wasn't recognizing the file type. But once I clicked to ignore the error, it downloaded successfully. So you can go ahead and click on this file here, and you might get this error. Click Run anyway, and it will launch the startup file over here. So here you can see that it's preparing to install, and this will just take a second. And you'll just click on Next. You'll click on, yours will be different because I already have this installed, so it's asking me to modify. You can pick where you want the data to be stored. You can go back here and figure out where it's being saved. I recommend you just save it. It'll create a C as repress folder for you, GTK G Pro. I would leave this as the default, as this will save you a lot of headaches later. But if you can't store it on the C drive, you can save it anywhere you want in here. You will have a setup window that'll ask you where you want to save it. And then you'll go ahead and click Install. Since mine's already installed, I can't show you that, but click on the Install and it'll take a couple minutes to install. So be patient. All right, once you get it installed, you'll get the message that it was successfully installed. Actually, let me go back. So we can open up ArcGIS Pro, and then we can go into our textbook. I'm actually on exercise 2A, as this is the first time we're using ArcGIS Pro. So you'll see directions are to start a new project. Goes through all that sign-in that we already did. And then it says on the opening screen, choose to open a map template and give it a unique name and save it either as a default or at another location. So that means we'll go in here, we'll click on a blank map template. We'll call this First Look. I'm going to leave it saved where it's having me save them. Although I already have one version. I'm going to call it First Look 2, so this works. And then from here, it is going to tell us, textbook, how to, on page, it's going to have you work through a couple things, but then on page 35, import a map document. It's going to ask you to import your map document. So you'll go to Import, Map. It'll ask you to find your folder that you downloaded all the data in. So for me, it's C as repress, GTKA Pro, and then it's in the world and then I'm adding in the world MXD file. So if you saved it somewhere that's not the Esri-Press folder on your C drive, you'll have to navigate to that location. You'll also see that I went ahead and in my File Explorer in Esri-Press, I made a copy of this data because we'll be changing it, and sometimes you can make mistakes when you're changing the data, so it's good for me to have a copy. So I usually make a copy that I don't touch. See this one I have like do not edit in original version, but so this one I'm leaving just called copy, and I'll only be working in the Pro, but I know I'll always have backup data in the copy file. To do this, I just right-clicked copy and then pasted it into this folder. So we'll see copy to or something like that, which I'm actually not going to do. Well, I'm running a little bit out of space on this file, but you can see now we have this second copy here. Let me go ahead and delete that. But I strongly recommend doing that so you have a copy of your data just in case you need it. Now each exercise will have you be adding data or opening a map project in a different format. So this is page 74, exercise 3A. And what I'd recommend doing is now that you have the data added to your map, just make sure you don't skip over these first couple pages of each exercise, because it'll tell you maybe you're just adding data, maybe you're opening an entire project, maybe you're just adding a shapefile or a layer file. So the instructions will vary on what you're adding to the map, but the overall process of opening ArcGIS Pro and then the textbook will give you information on where to navigate. Hopefully you were able to get your data added, download the data and add it to the map, and you can go ahead and get started with your exercises.